Today on the LowDOWN, a Down syndrome podcast, Down syndrome families gives us the lowdown on what they wish they knew when they all starting their journeys. Over to you, Hannah and Marilla.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live episode of the LowDOWN podcast. Today is World Down Syndrome Day, and we are excited about it. Woohoo! People who are new to the celebration, World Down Syndrome Day is celebrated on 3/21, so March 21, because Down syndrome results from that third copy on that 21st chromosome. Today is a special day for all of us at the clinic, and we are happy to bring a celebration your way in the form of this podcast. We are going to interview a couple of our families about their own journey so that we can share those stories with younger families. This year, the theme for World Down Syndrome Day is with us, not for us. And we invite you to reflect on this while you're listening in. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with both Sarah and Christopher, who both have DS and their families too. Sarah is a really super charming teen who attends a local high school. She has a scrunchie business and is involved in synchro swimming and hip hop dancing. My kind of teenager. She also has 2 adorable pet guinea pigs, and she's joined today by her mom, Lynn. Also with us is Christopher Weber, an adult who's a longtime alumnus of the DSRF programs. He's active in Taekwondo, and he's a wonderful improv artist. Christopher is joined today with his mom, Heather. Hi, guys, and welcome to the LowDOWN.
Welcome.
Great to have you.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
We're so excited to have you guys as part of our live episode. How are you guys feeling today?
Good.
Great. Christopher, thumbs up. Love it. Awesome. Oh, Candace, so great. All right, friends. So in the tradition of our podcast, we always like to start our episode with asking our guests some secret questions. Are you guys ready?
Yes, we.
You are. Okay, great. Awesome. So these questions just allow our listeners to get to know you a little bit better. So Sarah, how about I start with you first? Okay. If I were to have a guinea pig, what would be the best name for my guinea pig?
I would say Lolo.
Oh, Lolo. Okay, great. So anyone out there looking for a guinea pig name, Lolo is a recommendation.
There you go.
Love it. Any other names, Sarah, that you would think of?
Cutie Pie.
Oh, Cutie Pie. Yeah. I mean, they are so cute, those guinea pigs. Great suggestion. Christopher's giggling over there because he thinks it's the best name ever. Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Christopher, your turn, my friend. What is your favorite sport to watch or to play?
Both. What is it?
They could do both. I could say hockey.
Oh, did you say basketball and hockey?
No, both.
Both
okay.
playing and watching hockey.
I see. Okay, now the really important question, Christopher. What is your favorite hockey team? What do you think? Who's your favorite hockey team?
Canucks.
Yeah.
They can't see it. There you go.
Correct answer.
Oh, there we go.
That is the right answer. Nice.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Christopher. Let's turn it over to our mums on the panel today. Lynn, what would you like to do on a quiet Saturday?
Oh, a quiet Saturday. I love going for a nice big walk or hike on a quiet Saturday.
Yeah.
Rain or shine.
Oh, okay. Great. Perfect city for it then.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, Heather, for yourselves, where would you like to go on a day that has just great weather? What would you like to do on a day like that?
Yeah, definitely walking down by the water where you can see the water and the mountains. Down at Spanish Banks, you get a good time to go is at sunset. See the sunset and the mountains and the water, and it's just pretty awesome.
Amazing. Yeah, I know. And the weather's getting better now here. So it's looking like those are going to be some fun activities to do soon. So that's awesome. All right, you guys. So let's start talking a little bit about our topic today. So Sarah, my next question is for you. Can you tell our listeners what is your favorite thing about school?
I really love to learn.
You really love to learn? Love that. Can you tell us a little bit about what are you learning right now in school?
I've been learning about a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm. You've been learning about a lot of stuff? Like
Yeah.
what? Can you give me an example?
Like English or socials.
Oh, nice. English sounds like a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome.
What topic are you doing in English?
I've been doing Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, Shakespeare. That's exciting. What do you think about Romeo and Juliet so far?
Way too romantic.
Oh, it's way too romantic. You want some action in your Shakespeare?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's good for that. He has lots of different kind of plays for different things, right? So
Yeah.
love it. That's super cool. Sarah, what is the most challenging thing about school?
I have crushes.
You have
That is
crushes.
really tough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's the
remind
hard
me
part of being a teen.
yeah, you remind me of me as a teenager. So tricky.
Yeah.
That's the high school life right there.
Yeah, exactly. Those are
Totally.
tricky things to figure out for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I remember all that friend and boyfriend and crush stuff. That was really tough. I have another question for you, though. So today being World Down Syndrome Day, we're thinking of families who have kids or teens or adults with Down syndrome. And I'm wondering, what advice do you have for a family who's got like a new baby with Down syndrome?
Just love your baby.
Mm-hmm.
Best advice. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's so important and something that sometimes can feel tricky when we've got a lot of stress going on, but that's a wonderful, wonderful reminder that that's the most important thing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn some questions over to Christopher here. Mr. Christopher, can you
Yes.
tell me what's the best thing about being an adult?
So, has it been adult was like the big is more the independent.
It's the biggest one is being independent. Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And actually has a cool beard.
Oh, I was going to say something about that. Yeah. For people who are just listening, it's important everybody knows that Christopher has a legendary beard.
Yeah.
It's very, very well maintained and a cool part about being an adult. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Do you get to go to the barber to take care of that fancy beard?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
No, who takes care of your beard?
I don't think so. I could heard shower it is a good to cut my hair. So
Your dad.
I mean my dad. Yeah.
Ah.
So that's the barber. The beard.
You have your in-house barber, somebody
That's
that just love it.
That's right.
So yeah. So yeah, I didn't say I make it with some more because I get it more stronger
Mm-hmm.
with my fist. And then and it also has it food for families and the Bubby buddies volunteer and team chair.
Yeah.
I give it good support offer. So
There are a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
When
And
you're
also
an adult.
he's talking about his volunteer opportunities.
Yeah.
He has all these volunteer opportunities, right, Christopher?
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool thing about being an adult that you get to do new things, right, Christopher?
Right.
Stuff that they don't let teenagers do quite yet because they're not quite ready for it. Right, Sarah? When you're a bit older, you'll be out there,
Yeah.
maybe like Christopher being a hype man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher, what advice would you give to somebody who is going to be an adult soon?
Becky should be the adult soon become the broadcaster.
No, not for you, for other people. What would you say to other people about becoming an adult? What would you say they should do? Should other people do when they're becoming an adult?
Pick upon.
What are things that people could do? Like what what did we do with you? Did we make 3 goals?
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay. We responsible, respectful adult, and to be a good conversationalist, and to be a physically fit. So
Those are all such amazing things. Be responsible, be respectful, be a good conversationalist. Christopher, those are amazing pieces of advice for adults. I think even people that are already adults should learn. We can all use a reminder about those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should all be respectful and be responsible. What do you think, Sarah? Do you agree?
Yes, definitely agree.
Definitely agree.
Yes.
Fantastic. And I think your mom mentioned a really good one too, Christopher. I think making goals is a good one, right? Did you make some goals when you were getting ready to be an adult?
yeah, because it's like a big free goals and and make it as a actor hurting it. They're going to start the dating, but
those were different goals. Well, yeah, someone did recommend making goals, and we came up with those 3 goals, which seem to be have long-term traction. So
yes,
amazing.
Absolutely.
We're pretty happy about that.
Yeah,
and we're still actively working on all of them.
That it's a transit to and from the DSF.
He's talking about more goals that he has. So the whole thing of having a goal gives you a focus as to what you work on, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you keep making new goals as you get older and learn new things. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Things like
things.
totally.
Things.
Yeah. And things like transiting are huge, right? Being able to get around on your own, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to bring us back around to World Down Syndrome Day. Miss Sarah, what are you going to do for World Down Syndrome Day?
I'm going to celebrate with my good friend named Libby. And of course, we're going to have a protein dinner. And of course, with chips on side and watch High School Musical.
I mean, it sounds like the best day.
There you go.
Teen dinner. Yes, please. All right. And High School Musical.
I know.
It's like a great time hanging out with friends. I love that. Mr. Christopher, let's ask you, what are you going to do for World Down Syndrome Day today?
Did you heard that the Down Syndrome Days build time to remember my brain? I mean, those so. Oh yeah, right. So for the celebrating to we got the film festival
On Saturday.
And then
The podcast now.
and then the Will podcast now. So yeah, it's great. So Dad will make a post
On social media.
on the social media. So
We're not,
You guys have been busy.
There you go. That's right.
You
That's-
have been busy. Christopher
That's
was
right.
talking about the film festival from last weekend, the Down Syndrome Film Festival. I saw you there. It was great. I was so glad you were there with us. And Sarah's mom was there. Heather was there. There was a full house. It was a great day. We're doing this project today. We're making posts on social media. We're making everybody aware that it's today. Today is World Down Syndrome Day.
awesome. Lots of raising awareness. So that's great, guys. Good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We're going to turn it over to the moms here for a second. So because this year's theme is with us, not for us, how do you as parents empower your child to make decisions for themselves rather than making the decisions for them? Let's start with you, Heather. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on that?
That is an excellent thing, because Christopher is learning to manage his own schedule, because basically now I just manage it and tell him, or I mean, I ask him if he wants to do things, and then
Sure.
we're not looking at your schedule. Okay, Christopher.
You're showing us. That's awesome, Christopher.
Oh, you are busy. I see.
Busy guy.
He's doing that for his Explore journey facilitator.
Excellent.
I think it's about tracking with what they like to do and then facilitating it happening. So, I mean, Christopher is very musical, so we've sort of worked at getting piano lessons, and he's got an electric drum kit, but he hasn't taken lessons yet. And then his guitar. So I think it's just about finding what he's interested, what your child is interested in, and facilitating that. Then we have a wonderful piano teacher. What's your piano teacher's name?
Megan.
Wonderful.
And
so,
she's very
sorry. Go ahead.
No, she very much. She's very much. I'm happy when other people help him decide what he wants, but he's learning the VeggieTales theme song. So she's found that, and you're practicing, right? You're practicing the VeggieTales theme song on the piano.
Yeah.
Good for you. That is some fun music too.
It is, actually.
It really gets stuck in your noggin if you listen to it a little bit. My sister likes that one as well. It sounds like you are talking mostly about identifying those interests and then helping your person dig in and really explore those things a lot more and have access to things like cool lessons where they do the best music, those kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's turn it over to you, Lynn. What are your thoughts on empowering Miss Sarah to make decisions as opposed to deciding for her?
So I think a lot of it is providing exposure opportunities for her to have a broad world to make some choices and decisions about. And then I do always try and practice listening to her and being patient about her making choices. So sometimes she may not choose what I think might be the most interesting thing, but giving her the opportunity to really make her choices and supporting those, I think has been really a big part of our learning as parents in what she becomes interested in and wants to do.
Yeah, I think you use two really important words there, listening and being patient, right? Because like any of us, we all like to explore different things, but it takes time to figure out what we like about it, what we don't, or, what decision we want to make. So I think those two are really key pieces to kind of remember for sure.
I have another question for you, Lynn, before we go back over to Heather. So Lynn, I remember when Sarah was a teeny weeny wee one, and I'm sure you do too. What do you wish you had known back when Sarah was an itty bitty one, just starting kindergarten? What are some things that you would reflect on now that you're like, I wish I had just known that?
Yeah, my gosh. I think, and I maybe partially knew, but I think when I really think about it, it's the gift of patience is really a really big one, and understanding that she really does get a lot. She gets it. So having the patience to just wait it out and let her kind of make some choices and decisions. I wish I'd have had more confidence in that rather than more worry about what I could do for her. Which is, we all want to do the best for our children. I think sometimes I had to trust more in her doing the best for herself, and that would happen, and have the patience for that. So as a parent, I wish I'd have believed in that or felt a lot more confident about that as she entered kindergarten.
It's a really brilliant, but I understand the difficulty of that insight when you're like, are we gonna go with this? Are we gonna wait it out? And just trusting that it'll be good. She knows herself. Well, that is really nice. Thank you.
Heather, kind of reflecting a little bit further now, what do you wish you had known about adulthood when Christopher was younger?
Well, I think the biggest thing is to realize, again, very similar to what Lynn just said about you don't know where it's going to go. So for me, taking the pressure off and saying we're exploring, So, and then I was talking to somebody else and we were saying to have a parent mentor, like to find somebody, even just on your own, like or through the Down syndrome, if they could facilitate that. But also we were fortunate enough to have access to a navigator that was a pilot program that the navigator was from ages 16 to 25. So that was a really good service. And now he's part of a thing called Explore, which again is sort of in a pilot stage where, again, there's a journey facilitator.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so that's again helping facilitate him making goals. So I think you make a plan. And so for us, any planning that we did sort of got blown out of the water because life happened and Christopher had a major, oh yeah, here's the family.
Oh,
He's
lovely.
had a major break. And so any planning we would have done would have been blown out of the water anyway. So it's a matter of, you have to deal with the present. And I have this little quippy thing I say. It says you make a plan and you do what you can, because it's like you sort
It's
of
a good reminder for yourself.
You know,
Absolutely.
I've gotten a lot of mileage out of it. I shared it with people and they go, "Ooh, that's good."
Yeah.
So that's sort of the way I stay focused, because and also for me, taking the pressure off of having to know and having it down, and just saying, okay, we're exploring options. We're looking at that whole thing of not overscheduling.
Yeah.
That was the other thing we talked about, is that not to overschedule, to again pace yourself with what works for your family system, with what works for the individual, what works with what's available. So I think the parent mentor and the navigator, like another person to come alongside and help you assess what your situation is and what are the options. Like my navigator was great because she came in and said, okay, so what do we have? And here's something in the community that you could access, so just sort of put together a week schedule.
Yeah.
So however that happens, like whether it could just be another parent, and if that's something that the DSRF could facilitate, it would be good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it is about that we had the 4 siblings, and
oh, that's your family. And your family's wonderful, but we're talking about other people with Down syndrome and how to help them.
But yeah, you're right, Christopher. Your siblings can be a part of the plan too, right? You're kind of thinking of everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There you go. You got it, Hannah. I was listening.
He was trying to bring it all together for us.
He was saying something.
No, that's okay. I think, Heather, for some of our families that have kids that are younger than Sarah and Christopher, I think it must be a bit of a sigh of relief to be like, okay, I don't have to put the pressure on myself. We can plan as much as we can. And as you said, plan and see what happens, right? So I think for those families listening, it's a bit of a sigh of relief, being like, okay, it's not something that has to be done right away. We take one step at a time and look for those resources in the community that can help you. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So you were mentioning a little bit about the navigator that you have in place for Christopher. Do you have any additional thoughts about how to prepare for that post-high school transition? Because that could be a kind of a stressful time for families.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what Lynn was saying about just sort of tracking with what are you interested in? What could you do? What would you do if so, and thinking, and you know what, we say that for this population, it's hard, but for anybody, any kid ending high school, it's hard. Like it is a difficult time. So, I mean, it's not an unusual, difficult transition. It's a difficult transition for typical kids, as with people with Down syndrome, it's just got an extra component. So I think, facilitating conversation, facilitating exploration of, and I mean, I'm a bookaholic. So, I mean, I always have books as far as, what, I don't think there's simple answers to difficult questions. I think it's a lifelong, and the lifelong learning, right? I love what Sarah said about loving to learn. That is perfect, because so then what do you want to learn next? What do you want to, for Christopher, learning to play the piano, it's, you have to practice, you try new skills, and you can't do it at first. And then you feel bad because you can't do it, but then you have to say, that's the same for anybody learning something new.
Yeah.
You have to learn, and you learn by practicing. So you practice conversations, you practice piano, you practice reading and learning and writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good thought. Lynn and Sarah, I mean, I know Sarah just kind of is starting her high school journey. Are there things that you guys have talked about what you would like to do after high school, Sarah? Or is it still too early?
Go to university or college.
Yeah. Okay. So you're already thinking about college. That's fantastic. That's awesome.
I think from our perspective, trying to start to talk about and expose Sarah to different jobs and different careers, which I think everybody needs.
Mhm.
And but just trying to be a little more aware of it. I think that's really some recent learning that we've had. We were at the aquarium last week. So Sarah said, as she was watching the show, "Oh, I would really like to work here." So we took the opportunity to talk to one of the employees there and ask him about what would it be like to work at the aquarium? What does he do? So I feel like opportunities like that, we need to take advantage of anytime we sort of see them and open up a broad look at the world and what opportunities are there for her and other, every individual.
Maybe.
And for Libby too, right?
And
Yeah.
friend, yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And I think what both of you wise moms are saying, is that everybody goes through that period of exploration, and people with Down syndrome are no different than anybody else in that. You have to be able to think about what's around, visualize yourself. Would I like to work at the aquarium? I don't know. Let me think about that for a while. Let's go to the aquarium and check it out. And the idea of exploring is so valuable. You're not tied down to things that you're exploring. You just check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. And if not, there's nothing wrong with moving on, which is wonderful. We are lucky to have a whole bunch of questions from the chat. We have people kind of watching and listening in from all over the place. And one of the group that's listening in is a big classroom. So there's a question here that says, they're here with the Grow class at DSRF. And the question is for Christopher. Mr. Christopher, what is your favorite thing about your girlfriend, Kate?
She was great. Also, because so dating with me is they must go ways and it is like chicken versus time to like do the birds laughing at this. That's right. And then so my characters did a great time at the go down to the movie theater last week. Make a secret. A tack. No, cat tack. The brave Was that fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So sounds like dating's pretty awesome. Hey, get to go to fun places, hang out with a really special person. I mean, that sounds wonderful. Congrats, Christopher.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, we have another question for both Sarah and Christopher. But Sarah, how about I ask you first, okay? What is your favorite thing about Down syndrome?
I just love my chromosome.
You just love that extra chromosome? That's awesome.
There you go.
Do you feel like your extra chromosome gives you some super cool special qualities and powers?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's great. I love that extra chromosome. Christopher, what about you? What is your favorite thing about Down syndrome?
I just heard Down syndrome. I got those years and back into a experience of and AWAC class and money maths and scan.
I bet you I know the best thing about for him is he gets more attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Same here.
Do you guys like getting attention?
Yeah. Teaches me boys.
But Christopher, I also like what you mentioned, that you're having Down syndrome gives you the opportunities to learn all these new things too, right? Like you said, money math, you like coming to classes with some of your other friends who also have Down syndrome. So it gives you a sense of community, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I get lots of friends.
Lots of friends. Yeah. That's such a great answer.
I have lots of boys at school.
Yeah.
And lots of boys at school.
Lots of boys at school. Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
And they do like me.
I know.
Got
It's
great
tough.
friends at school, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. Awesome.
Mhm. Let's see. There's another question here for both of you. Let's start with Christopher this time. Christopher, what is your favorite band?
Easy one.
Oh,
It is a Newsboys.
The Newsboys. All right. Really nice answer. And Miss Sarah, who or what is your favorite band?
I really love High School Musical.
Oh, yeah, they have some good soundtracks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Love it. Who's your favorite character in High School Musical, Sarah?
Jack and Trey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So our next question is actually for our wise moms on the panel. So Kelly asks, as a parent, how do you advocate patience to others in the community when everyone talks and acts so quickly? I'm assuming she means like when they're interacting with our people with Down syndrome. Yeah. Lynn, did you want to go first?
Sure. So I think really, as I did not know prior to having Sarah, I think a lot of people just don't maybe know enough about individuals with Down syndrome to understand that if you just slow the pace and, give them a little bit of information on what to expect. That's been something that I've really learned has been effective with Sarah. So whether it's meeting a new dance teacher or something like that, just giving them some information or a teacher at school about what works well with an individual with Down syndrome and what some of those differences may be. Because I don't think, I certainly was not very informed prior to having Sarah. So that's all some people really need. And then they understand a little bit better what to do and can manage much better.
Great. Heather, what about you?
I think just catching people doing things right, at our different volunteer things, sometimes other people are way better at, being patient. And sometimes that's what I just need to step away and let other people step in. So I think it's just about as they get to know the person, then they can develop their own system and dynamic. So I think just opening up opportunities and sort of, facilitating. I think that whole thing of sometimes interpreting what is being said is the biggest thing. Sometimes they're trying to communicate something and it's not getting through. And sometimes if you can step in and just say, I think this is what is being said. And then that person will just kind of go, oh, okay. And then they can modify what they, how they interact. But I think it's just coaching people, catching people doing well. I think there's been people with Food for Families that have been so good. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
You did great. So it's just coaching a bit of, just saying this works, or, maybe this is what's trying to be said, and just encouraging them that way.
Yeah. Wonderful advice. That's awesome. All right, friends. So we're kind of nearing the end. Unless somebody else who's watching has any questions, feel free to jump in. But my last final question for everyone, Sarah and Christopher, what is your message to everybody who is listening today? What do you want them to know about you, about Down syndrome, whatever you want to say? Sarah, would you like to go first? Go for it.
Mostly be proud of yourself and don't give up, and we're all in this together.
Oh,
there you go.
Be kind to yourself.
Awesome.
That's love it, Sarah. That's beautiful. Christopher, what about you?
I get back sort of being yourself and then just stand strong and don't give up.
Oh, I feel reinvigorated. You guys, that was fantastic.
No kidding.
So amazing.
What do you add to that, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I drop the mic and we're good to go. So honestly, well, we really want to thank everybody for taking the time to, talk about your experiences. Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Christopher, especially because you guys really have some wonderful, thoughtful answers to our questions and great pieces of advice for everybody. So we want to thank you. And also a huge thank you to Lynn and to Heather for being such amazing, wise moms and spreading the good word. So thank you so much, and happy World Down Syndrome Day to everybody.
Yes.
Same to you.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for having us.